Hello friends, welcome to another Word Cloud Tarot show. Today we're going to do a tarot reading on the Brexit talks. Boris has come back from the EU saying that no deal can be done unless the EU significantly change their position. And the EU have said much the same about Boris. The deal seems to be hung up on state aid, which is an odd thing for a Conservative government. You would think they would be the ones arguing that the state must not be allowed to give aid to their private companies. But no, we're living in a topsy-turvy world. We'll be using the Word Cloud Tarot deck, which I designed with especially for beginners in mind. Each card has written upon the face of the card the meanings of the card itself. So the 14th trump card there, called Temperance, might be about sorcery or prosperity. The second trump, the Priestess, is about teaching and spirituality, that kind of thing. As I shuffle the cards, we will think a little bit more deeply about Brexit and the causes of Brexit and whether or not it will be a good plan. The trade deal is that Boris says he is trying to negotiate is a Canadian-style trade deal. But he says the EU will not give that to a country that is not thousands of miles away and is in fact just off the coast. So instead, they're offering no deal at all, which Boris calls an Australian-style deal, which means that there will be no free trade agreement with Europe, and all the free trade agreements with all the other countries will need to be negotiated from scratch, because, of course, they're currently only active because we were part of the European Union a year ago. Now, we will do today a horseshoe spread, which means we'll have one card representing the past. We'll have one card representing the present, and one card representing the future. And then there's a card representing the guidance, which the cards will give. Some influences on the outcome, some obstacles, and finally, if we squeeze them all on, and finally the outcome card. So let's begin the reading. The first card here today is the Nine of Trumps, known as the Hermit. Now, the Hermit has all sorts of meanings, of course. It means enlightenment and spirituality. It means desecration and assistance. The card's generally about hiding from the truth and spending time on introspection instead of being out in the world. And that has been the past of the situation with the Brexit talks. Perhaps it's suggesting that the UK government aren't engaging appropriately, or perhaps it's suggesting the EU side aren't engaging appropriately. Let's see what the present card tells us. The present card is the Four of Pentacles. The Four of Pentacles is known as power. As we can see on this card, the power card is all about progressivism, and it's all about surveillance and institutions, building. These are all powerful words to do with the EU itself, the way that it is a foundation for progressiveness and for complex trade agreements, try to manifest its own will across the whole of the EU. The next card, the third card, represents the future, and it is the Two of Swords. Now, the Two of Swords is an unusual swords card because it's not about battle, it's about peace, the end of battle. So it would seem that the future of the talks is likely to result in a ceasefire. It's likely to result in some kind of stalemate, it says here. We could be contemplating semantics of the theory, but we'll find calming choices. Now, what guidance would the cards give to us in this situation? The cards recommend the 12th Cups card, who's the Knight of Cups. The Knight of Cups is about glamour and beauty. He's an artist. He's always gets the sympathy whenever he's appearing in his art. He's a standalone man, magnificent and unsympathetic and selfless, and yet a realist. Could this represent someone who could bring a new dynamic to the trade talks? What does this card represent the advice being given? Perhaps rationalism, for we do see rationalist on the card here. Well, let's see what the influences on the outcome will finally be. The Five of Wands. That's strife. The Five of Wands shows a battle, and the battle is presumably between Britain and the EU. There is a competition between these two organisations, and a dispute indeed. Will it be settled? Well, we don't know. These are the two sides are influencing what will happen. Our next card is the Nine of Cups. That represents obstacles that must be overcome. Now, the Nine of Cups is talking about happiness. You wouldn't think happiness would be an obstacle on the face of it. Perhaps it represents the happiness of some particular group. The happiness of the Brexiters must be overcome in order to find a deal, because the hardline ERG type members won't allow there to be a Brexit deal. Any deal proposed is not Brexity enough for them. Perhaps their happiness is what needs to be assured. And here's the card that will really tell us what's going on now. This is the card that tells us the final outcome of the talks. That's another royal card. In this case, it's the King of Swords. The King of Swords has unwavering ambition. He's bold and has conviction. His judgment is good, and he's as clever as logical as Spock. Semantics are very important in the end of the deal here, it would seem. And we could perhaps that will be referring to the language of the deal itself, which of course is always specified very precisely. This is some of the things that are difficult to do in a trade deal. Now, what do we think all this could mean? Let's see if there's a good summary. It would seem that in the past, the UK decided they wanted to be a hermit. They no longer wanted to be a part of the EU. They wanted to leave and be on their own, which has led us to the present moment, in which there is a power struggle with both the EU and the UK refusing to back down and saying that the other side must compromise. We would like in the future for there to be peace between these factions, for there to be a deal, and for there to be some kind of cooperation. What is needed is the guidance of some ingenious adjudicator who can tell us which way the deal should go. If that adjudicator can bring the strife between the two battles, the two sides together, and cause both of them to be happy, then we can get a new deal, a mandate for a new relationship between the EU and the UK. So this is quite encouraging for the prospects of a Brexit deal. It seems to indicate that all that's needed to bring about this mandate and to unite the warring factions and bring happiness is this: the arbitrator, someone creative and sympathetic and magnificent and decisioned, who can stand alone, a tourist perhaps, someone from neither the EU nor the UK. Can that person be found? Will the deal be breached? The cards seem to think so. And that's what the reading says for today. Now, you may decide that you would like to do your reading for yourself, so you can do so by buying a set of cards from wordcloudtarot.com, where you will find all the other readings that we've done, and indeed ways to subscribe for next week, when there will be another Word Cloud Tarot show. So tune in then, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.